Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be doing a championship challenge guide for 15 wins. So I'm always a little bit confused as to whether I should do these types of videos, so let me know whether you like them in the comment section below. But I'll be giving you guys the best brawlers for every single map, and also the best brawlers in terms of hard carrying your randoms as well. So the championship challenge is a lot more worth it than it used to be later on in the year. You get a lot more chaos drops. I think you get 2 chaos drops per set, or you definitely get 1 chaos drop per set, so that's up to 5 chaos drops at least. So it's definitely worthwhile playing. And then if you also go through the qualifiers, you earn more rewards as well. So championship challenge starts Friday, and then the following weekend you get the qualifiers where you can also earn rewards and just compete against the best. So let's jump into the first set, which is Hot Zone Dueling Beetles, with the best picks right here. I think it's pretty obvious, especially early on, what you're going to be facing off against and what brawlers you need. So I would actually rather go for 2 tank counters here for the most part. So whether you're just comfortable on like really generic brawlers like Lou and Bo, even though they're not that great right now, again, for the lesser skill players, still could be a good alternative. But I recommend the likes of Colette. Colette is insanely strong in the meta right now. Make sure you're using the Na'Ar gadget, and you can counter everything. Crow's just good into everything, so you definitely need like a brawler like that can just poke and just be consistent on the zone. I've got Leon as well. Leon's good on Dueling Beetles because of his Lollipop Drop gadget. You've got Finks with his super, so you need like a zone times brawler. So what I recommend is either like a Finks, a Crow, a Bo, for example, or Lou, one of those 2 brawlers, and then the other 2 you can kind of flexible pick with 1 tank counter, maybe an aggressive brawler if you want like Edgar, but I definitely recommend at least like a Chester and Ems. You've got Lumi as well with her gadget that can create some good zone time. You don't really need to sweat it too much for set number 1. It's just going to be a load of nonsense, so that's why I always say with 2 tank counters, you're pretty safe. So now moving on to set number 2, we have Heist Safe Zone. Here are your best picks. So with Safe Zone, you always want to go, especially with my draft guide, you pretty much apply that knowledge to safe zone. So what do you go? So you need 1 brawler that is at least going to go for safe damage. So that can be the likes of Chuck is pretty good in a blind pick format like it is instead of draft. Chuck can still be pretty good, but it is counterable, so do bear that in mind. So I would prefer at least 1 defensive brawler. So whether that's 1 brawler that's going to stick in the mid no matter what. So whether that's an Otis, a lot of people go for like Bell in the middle with the traps, can be pretty good at just poking damage and confirming kills. You've got the likes of Nadja as well, that can be pretty good. Not the best defensive brawler, but a good brawler inside of the mid. And then I recommend you need 1 brawler that's going to just mainly focus on offense. So that's going to be, again, like your Chucks, your Kaze, your Melody, even your Miko as well, because people just don't know how to counter the Miko at lower down. So yeah, you want to go for something like that. Or maybe even Colt as well. Colt's good at just directly going down the left or right hand side and just shooting out the safe. And then you need maybe an in-between brawler. I personally really enjoy playing Penny, because Penny, you can just, the opponents are just going to feed you a turret. You throw your turret down the left hand side and you just set up from there, and it's just impossible for the opponents to push into you. But you can also go for like safer options as well. You got like Colette that can just play cleanup and then deal hypercharge damage on the safe. You've got like an Amber, etc. So I would go, if you was to pick 3, I would probably go with like a Bella and Otis inside of the middle. I would go for a Colt or Penny on the left, and then I'd either go Chuck or Kaze to confirm your damage. So pretty easy for safe zone. So now moving on to set number 3, we've got Bounty Dry Season. So your best picks, again, you want to be focusing more on my draft guide and taking some good brawlers from there. So with Dry Season, how it typically goes, you either want like a good blue star brawler. So by that I mean like a really high mobility fast brawler that's going to pick up the blue star faster than the opponent. So that's going to be brawlers like Mortis, Kaze, Jae Young's pretty good at doing stuff like that. There's a few other brawlers in between, Mina, etc., that can be pretty decent as well. But what I definitely recommend in Bounty right now, especially in a blind format, you pretty much want to go Kit and another brawler no matter what. So the best option right now for a Kit is Mortis. So Mortis can just still be good on his own in Bounty, right? But paired with a Kit, it's pretty much unstoppable. With a Mortis, all you got to do is focus on getting up the map, getting behind a wall, so your Kit can just keep throwing the attacks onto people, because with Kit, it's really easy to hit people with your support form now. And again, as Mortis, you mainly want to focus on just getting close to the opposition. You don't really need to get directly on them, deal damage, unless you know the timings are right. Just try and pressure them, get them back into spawn, and you should be good for the most part. But if you're not comfortable at playing Mortis, you've got Daryl, you've got Damien, you've got Kaze, you've got a few other brawlers like that, Mina, Miko, that are high mobility that can get into the opponent's face and just use a Kit on top of that. So yeah, I'll just recommend using Kit no matter what. But for whatever reason, if you just don't want to play kit, you don't like playing those cheesy compositions, what I recommend, again, I would probably go with either a Mortis without the kit or like a Jae-Young. I personally prefer, instead of like the Kaze Mortis strategy, I prefer Jae-Young rather now, because with Jae-Young, yeah, the opponent's going to get blue, but you can just constantly pressure the blue star brawler and just chip them down, and he's pretty good at peak shotting on dry season. And then you want it like an in-between brawler, so paired with your kit Mortis or just paired with your Mortis, you want like a Naja. Naja's really good on dry season because she can literally shoot around walls, and with dry season, that's always the annoying part where you constantly have to worry about brawlers that, you know, you have to think in your composition, right, I need a brawler that can shoot around walls or can destroy walls, but also good against aggression, whilst Naja is pretty good against everything, I would say. So Naja is just pretty much a stone wall, one that you just want to guarantee pick. Or if you don't want Naja, you've got Pierce as well, you've got Jean, you've got these types of brawlers. I recommend about 6 brawlers here because they're just better than everything else. So now moving on to set number 4, we've got Gem Grab, Gem Fort. Here are your best picks. Again, looking at the ranked guide, you can easily tell what are the best options to choose from. So as I always recommend in draft specifically, especially when it's blind draft as well, you want one of a few brawlers. So as your mid, you want your gem carrier to be something that is good against aggression, because no matter what, you're guaranteed to face off against an assassin. You just are. You got your Mortis, you got Ali, you got Lily, you got Kit. You got quite a few brawlers that are just so Edgar as well, incredibly strong on gem grab. So in the mid, I would recommend, you know, like a year ago, so you probably wouldn't say these brawlers are your gem carrier, but right now you just have to. Gem grab's just been changed forever. So I think you've got like Chester, you've got Otis. These are the 2 ones I recommend. If you're a little bit better, you know, I recommend probably like a Stu, even though you can't directly counter assassins, at least he can dash away and create pressure, but a little bit less on a map like Gem Fort. You've got to be careful of brawlers sneaking in around you. And you've got brawlers like, I don't know, Veep in the mid is okay, Janet, Charlie. Just make sure that you've got some type of escape mechanism inside of your gem carrier. So you, as well, with your gem carrier, you need the vision gear on top of that and the shield gear, no matter what brawler you're basically playing on. And then we're going to the aggro brawlers. I've already basically spoke about this, things you got to worry about with your gem carrier, but you also just need one of these no matter what yourself. So you can face off against an Otis and Chester, and this actually applies to ranked as well. I still most of the time recommend going an assassin or some type of aggro brawler, because even if you're not guaranteeing kills onto those counters every single time, you're getting them weak, you're getting pressure, so your gem carrier can collect gems. So that's why I recommend absolutely, I'd go for, actually you can just go for any of the 4, to be honest. I think the best one actually in gem grab right now is probably Kit, funny enough, because you can farm hypercharge pretty easily and then just change the game and nothing's stopping the hypercharge Kit. But outside of that, you know, you got your Mortis, you got Ali, a lot of bushes, so Ali can be a problem, and you've got Edgar. So one of these 4 you absolutely need. And then again, you can probably round off your composition with a good all-rounder. I didn't mention as gem carrier you could go Crow, but you can go Crow lane as well. You've got Mo to scout the bushes, hypercharge can change the game. You've got Nita, because Nita's good, although she might suffer against some longer range brawlers. She has a lot of health, and it's still really hard for assassins to deal with a Nita. So yeah, Nita's great for that reason. And then you got Ems as well. So good mid that is good against assassins. You want an all-rounder that can create pressure but also a tank counter, and then you need your aggressive brawler no matter what, and then you should be good to go. And lastly, moving into set number 5, we have Brawl Triple Dribble. So as you see by the cheat sheet, you can again devise your blind pick composition on a few facts, because you got to have all bases covered when it's a blind pick. At least with ranks, you can kind of predict and counter opposition, but in blind picks, you've got to be careful of everything. So what do I always say in draft? You've got to be careful of throwers, you've got to be careful of assassins, and those are the main type of things. So you've got to have a little bit of everything in your composition. So you've either got to have a thrower, but maybe a thrower that's also good into assassins. So this is why I really like Willow on Triple Dribble, because again, other throwers might beat her out, but no one's going other throwers in a blind pick format, right? No one's going to dare to go Barley or Larry and Laurie. They're just not that great in the meta, whilst Willow can still compete against the likes of Shades, Kenjis, Mortises, etc. So yeah, I actually really enjoy the Willow in the middle, so I'm going to recommend Willow in the middle, and then it's up to you what route you go. It depends if you're an aggressive player or if you're one that likes to take that time a little bit. So if you're an aggressive player, you can go quite a few brawlers that are still just good into everything. You've got like Damien, who's still pretty good but can get countered by a lot of the aggro brawlers. You've got Edgar, you've got Mortis, you've got Kenji. These type of brawlers, Mina as well. I recommend going one of these types of brawlers and try and play them down the right-hand lane to create some pressure. Always recommend you need like a pressure brawler. If you don't fancy going that, you've got the likes of Mo that can still chip around walls pretty easily. And then his hypercharge super can be the thing that creates a lot of plays and goal scoring opportunities. You need one brawler at least that's going to make you a goal scoring opportunity, and Mo is perfect at that. You've got Meeple, who are really, if you don't want to go Willow in the mid, you've got Meeple who can be good in the mid as well. Use the Rage Quit gadget, and Meeple's just solid into everything, so you can never go wrong with a Meeple. Again, if you don't want to go Willow, you could just opt to go aggressive in the middle yourself and go with this Shade, because Shade, once you get one super, you're just going to chain and just destroy everything. And it depends how your composition rounds up. You could go, if you want to go like a Nadia, a bit more sniper, you need to prepare that with a tank counter, so an Otis or a Chester. Again, if you've got more damage, so if you've got like a Chester or an Otis, you can go with like a Stu as well in the mid to apply a lot of pressure. You've also got Colette and Lumi as well, which you can never go wrong with. So if I was to say an absolute composition for triple dribble, I would probably go for a Willow in the mid, maybe like a Colette, Lumi, or a Chester personally. And then I would go with something aggressive, maybe like a Mo, maybe a Stu that can be aggressive, maybe an Edgar, or a Mina, something like that, that can create pressure on the right-hand side. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know how you get on in the championship challenge. Again, it's not till Friday, but I've got some banger videos lined up for you guys. I've got the Adrian Q&A coming out probably Friday, and I've got some other videos with Semantic and other people as well. So hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.